The biggest 6'7" former world's strongest man, juiced up baby Brian Shaw, has released new MMA training footage. 4 of the world's strongest, juiciest men are about to fight in an MMA tournament in Qatar in a little over a month. And when I say juiciest men, I don't mean in a gay way. I mean steroids. Not that there's anything wrong with gay people, I've got to put that in there. It looks like I am the only channel who is covering this fight build-up. Maybe there's a few more, but I am officially appointing myself as the main promoter of this fight. I'm trying to help out the Middle East here. There's a lot of fishy stuff surrounding these fights. I wasn't even sure that these fights were going to go ahead, but it looks like it's going to happen. Eddie Hall released new footage the other day. Now Brian Shaw has just dropped some new training footage. Also, if you like these videos, make sure you drop a like on the video. It just helps it get into the algorithm a little bit more. So Brian Shaw just released this video. My MMA fight countdown begins. Let's take a look at what Brian Shaw's got to say, and then we'll see how he's doing with the MMA training. Let's get into it.
What's up, guys? Hope you all are doing well. I've had a lot of questions about my potential MMA fight. Is it happening? What's the status? What's going on? I said when I officially announced this at the beginning that this would be a transition and that I was going to try to bring you guys along for the ride. There's been a lot of stuff on the back end, and I wanted to be 100% confident as we showed content, showed videos, that type of thing, that everything was going forward. So on my side, the contract has been signed. I have been told that everything is going forward, so I have no reason to doubt that it's going forward.
That's what people were questioning. Everyone was saying that there's a lot of fishy stuff surrounding this fight. Is it going ahead? There's no social media content on the Finishers Championship Instagram, despite the fact that they said that they're going to take over and they're going to reach 1 billion social media profiles or whatever they said. So, I mean, it's kind of good that we get confirmation from Brian Shaw, but then it's also not good that he asked to address this. I still feel a degree of uncertainty as he's speaking.
The eliminator is between 4 men, myself, Martin Ford, Eddie Hall, and Mitch Hooper. The first 2 fights will be myself versus Martin Ford, Eddie Hall versus Mitch Hooper, and then the winner of those 2 will move on to then face one another. It's time to just put out some of the content, put out some of the training content, and let you guys in, because the fight doesn't go forward at this point. It is not my fault. It will be completely on the promoter's side. So,
okay, so Brian said if the fight doesn't go ahead, it's not on my side, it's the promoter's side. These are things that a fighter shouldn't really be saying, but you can tell Brian's a little bit clueless about it all as well.
When I started this, I was at a complete novice level, and I've been able to work with some great coaches here, through the process, and I've been able to transition from my base, which was strongman, into MMA.
We got a good one today.
Nice.
You look good, man. Looking nice and lean. I'm saying, you see that? Yeah, nice and lean.
So I was.
Yeah, he does look a lot trimmed down. Now you see that belly isn't popping as much. Previously, he had like a bit of a barrel belly, as all strongmen do. It's actually beneficial to have that. Helps with deadlifting, helps with log presses. Brian's looking trim. I wonder what weight he's going to fight at. It surely can't be anything under 300 pounds. Otherwise, if it was, he'd be absolutely shredded.
I hopped on the scale. I was 4, with my shoes on and everything, like 450.
How much?
Okay, he's 450 pounds.
Wow, so that means your shoes are probably like 5 pounds.
I know, that's probably what it was. Or some weights in the shoes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, silly me. Brian Shaw's probably going to fight around 420 odd pounds, probably more, probably 430 pounds. That's insane. And who's he fighting? Martin Ford. How much does Martin Ford weigh? Okay, so Martin Ford is 320 pounds, but as you can see, Ford is pure muscle. He hasn't really got much fat on him. We can see here, this is a good picture. Look at him just above my head. Absolutely shredded. Even on the left side where he's more bulked up, he's still fairly lean. Look at the size of him. Crazy. I'm actually really intrigued into this fight because Brian Shaw's like a mountain of a man, but Martin Ford is not exactly skinny, is he? Look at this picture here. For some context, I mean, what's this guy? Probably about like 5'8" to 5'10". No, probably a little bit smaller, actually, probably like 5'6", 5'7". Martin Ford is 6'7". So Brian Shaw, Martin Ford, similar heights, completely different builds though. Martin Ford, a little bit more experienced with the MMA side of things, but the majority of the footage that we've seen of Martin Ford are from films and movies. He has got a few clips on his Instagram, which we'll do another video on, and we'll break down some of his fighting footage for the
taken me from an absolute novice at this point to having some skills. I'm not going to say efficient and good skills because, let's be fair, that takes years and years and years to develop. So I've had an absolute crash course here.
It's good that Brian Shaw recognizes that. He's not trying to falsely big up his skills and say, you know, I'm going to come out here, I'm going to be a destroyer, I'm going to take Martin Ford's head off. He's actually being realistic with it, and it's good to see that authenticity, because you see it in like the Misfits fighting, and this is something that I am fully prepared for if I do a Misfits fight card. Like, everyone talks like as if they are world beaters, and yeah, it's obviously to sell the fight, but they'll talk saying, I'm going to knock him out, I'm going to rip his head off, and then you see them in the ring and they're like, oh, they can't throw a punch to save their life. So it's good that Brian Shaw is talking with a little bit of realism here. That's what I want to see. I like it, Brian.
Training, and I feel like I have got to a point where in pretty much every scenario I have a couple options, a couple things that I can do. I still have to refine those skills. I still have to get better.
And once again, he's saying I have a couple things in each area. So let's not pretend that Brian Shaw's working on every single potential outcome that there is within MMA, and every submission and every single strike. They've probably taken a few things and said, let's try and master those things. I don't think Brian or any of the strongmen are learning kicks, to be honest. I might be wrong here, and this might not age well, but I'm going to predict that the only person who we'll see throw a kick might be Martin Ford. But then even still, he might not want to get taken down by Brian Shaw just because of the weight advantage. If you've got a 450-pound man lying on top of you, even though Martin Ford is 320 pounds himself, that's a lot of weight to be carrying. We might not even see Martin Ford throw any kicks, but like, if I am Brian Shaw's coach, there's no point in me showing him how to kick. Really, we're better just showing him how to throw a few punches in order to get in on the grappling exchanges. That's all Brian Shaw really needs to learn here, is how to grapple, and I think the rest will take care of itself. Right, here we go. Some MMA footage. I'm grappling a bit. Okay, throwing some punches. Nice. Them elbows are brutal. Nasty.
It's been awesome.
Okay, is there some more footage? Let me just double check. So if we scroll through, I think there's... Yeah, okay, so we got some more footage. Let's just have a quick little look at that. So you can see when he's throwing punches, he's not too natural with it. And it takes so long to teach people how to punch, especially when you're a little bit older as well. I've got a few clients, and when I train them in person, and they can be really athletic, but if they are in their 40s and 50s, they don't have that natural coordination that they would do if they were in the 20s or 30s. I notice I can get someone who's relatively unathletic, but if they're in the 20s and 30s, they can learn how to punch a lot easier than someone in the 40s and 50s can do. Now, old Brian Shaw, he's like late 40s. You know, he's not really going to have that natural fluidity to his punches, and that's why I don't really believe that they're going to put much emphasis on the punches. Let's actually just slow it down a little bit. Didn't realize I was on 1.2 times speed there. Mute it. Okay, so here's some punches. See, this is where Brian Shaw's going to excel in the takedowns, because if he gets on top of you, throws some of them nasty elbows, which we see now, is it? Yeah, so look at these punches. Like, that hook then at the end obviously wasn't too great at all. And I know we're looking at a very small splice of footage here. It's not an accurate representation of how well someone can fight. We always have to take that into consideration. Like, let's just look at this hook right here at the end. So this hook now, he's leaning into his punches, so he's using his body like this. And, you know, he's 450 pounds, and he's a big, strong man with loads of muscle on him, so he's not going to be able to move fluidly. But, yeah, I don't see them putting any sort of emphasis on that. But, on the other hand, these elbows right here, certainly a viable option for Brian Shaw. So, I mean, look at that hook. Not good at all. I was meant to make another point a minute ago, and I completely forgot it. But let me just watch these punches again. Yeah, so what I was going to say is, if Brian gives you the one bomb on the chin, you're going night-night. You're not getting back up from it. But his punches, that slow and that sluggish, it's almost like, because of his bad technique, he won't be able to get full power behind them. So you say, oh, I wouldn't like to take a punch from Brian Shaw. But then you think to yourself, it'll be that slow and that sluggish. It probably won't be that powerful. Okay, yeah, it's got a lot of weight behind it, but you'd see it coming from a mile off. This part now, if he gets someone down, if he gets Martin Ford down and throws them elbows, you do not need much technique in those elbows whatsoever, because if you've got 450 pounds raining down on you like this, and then right up, bang, who cares? That is splitting you open, and you're probably getting knocked out. Good training footage. I think what we're going to see Brian Shaw do is take his opponent down, Martin Ford down, and then ground and pound. We're not going to see much striking at all.
We've actually been able to bring in Derek Wolfe, who won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. He's a big, strong, athletic guy, and, you know, he's got a background in wrestling. He's done striking. And so having him come in to work with me and be able to go against somebody that big and strong and athletic has been huge for my learning.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Brian Shaw to find someone who is 6'7", absolutely jacked, juiced to the gills. I'm not surprised that he's brought in a linebacker or a quarterback. I don't really know the positions in American football, but that's probably a good decision. Get someone in who's used to tackling big fellas in football, someone who can present the physicality to Brian Shaw, as well as the threat of the takedowns.
Heading into Vital Training Systems, I've actually had the opportunity to train with Derek Wolfe, who is a Super Bowl champion. He was a defensive end in the NFL. Really big, really strong, athletic guy, so it's great training for me. And I've been able to learn a lot working with him along with all the other guys. So we're gonna get in here, we're gonna get rocking.
The amazing thing about Brian Shaw is, like, he's such a sweet guy, isn't he? You know what I mean? He's just dead kind and kind-hearted, yet at the same time, it's ironic that he's such a massive juice bomb, strongest man in the world, can crush you in the palm of his hand type individual. Okay, so Derek Wolfe is he played in the Super Bowl, linebacker, NFL player, whatever you want to call him, basically strong guy. I assume this is him. So we've got Brian Shaw working up against the wall here. I think this is what we're going to see.
Yeah.
Brian Shaw do.
I can get there.
Dude, you can hammer here, right?
Yeah.
And remember, got to control this hand too, right?
This guy's big.
See, I feel like from this position that I'm gonna just keep driving here.
Exactly.
Right there.
Well, that's what I was trying to tell you that one day. Remember, like,
Keep
it's so
going.
overwhelming, bro. Just keep going.
Yeah. If that, especially I can get it that deep.
You got my hand pin here, and you're driving here.
Sure.
It's just
Keep working. Keep working over. I love it.
it's not taking any energy out.
I actually think that we're going to see this exact position play out in the fight. I think if Brian Shaw can get in close to Martin Ford without getting knocked out, you know, I don't really know what Martin Ford's striking skills are like. I've seen him in films and I've seen a few clips of him on Instagram, but I haven't seen him spar. And as we know, the pads and films, completely different ball game than actually sparring someone. Has Martin Ford got the countering skills to catch Brian Shaw on the way in? I have no idea, but if we assume not, and Brian Shaw can get to this position, I actually think it's going to be quite easy for Brian Shaw. I think he's going to be able to get Martin Ford down against the cage, lie on top of Martin Ford, and then just rain down ground and pound. And it can be the most sloppy ground and pound we've ever seen. But just because it's 450 pounds behind every single punch, provided he doesn't gas out, this is a winnable fight for Brian Shaw. Okay. Bit of stand up. Good, good. See, Shaw's just got that strength.
Good. You got him there.
Right, now, one thing I hope that Brian Shaw's doing, which, of course, he's probably doing it because, you know, he's getting coached by some really good professional coaches, but I hope he's getting punched in the face. The question that we always have to ask with people who are new to fighting, new to MMA, kickboxing, whatever, is how are they going to respond when they get punched? And for someone who's had an entire career not getting punched in a non-contact sport, sometimes you get cracked and the game plan goes out the window, as Mike Tyson always used to say. This is all well and good, but hopefully Brian Shaw is putting in those sparring rounds and actually getting punched in the face and still being able to execute these techniques, because it's just a completely different world. It's a game changer.
Now reverse it.
Good. Stay tight right here, bro. Tight right here. Yeah. Short uppercuts to the belly. Boom, 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 boom. Now I'm on the hips. Yes. Yes. Derek's gonna defend. Boom. He's gonna stay tight to you. Gonna stay hands on here. Find damage in small places.
No one's stopping it.
Oh. Yeah, nice. Keep your posture about you though. Look. Yeah. Look at deadlift. Gotta get deadlift. Yes. To get closer. Yeah. You need your hips. Yeah, that right there. That right there.
We've seen Brian Shaw work in this position in the last video that we've done covering his training. I'll link that up here if you want to go and watch that, or you can watch it after this video is finished. Can we also just give a little hand to Brian Shaw's endurance and fitness levels? This is only a 30-second, 60-second clip, but he's clearly training in a class at the moment, and he's holding his own. When I was training in Dubai, I was like lying down on the floor in between each round, and I had to extend the rest periods because a 1 minute rest wasn't enough for me. Brian Shaw, like, weighs triple the amount that I do, just in muscle mass, and he's not gassed. So he's got good fitness levels.
As soon as he gives you his back, if he does that, gives you his back, game on. You're going to put him on his back and he's going to go to work, right?
Pick his ass up and slam him.
Typically what's going to happen is they're going to hang out here for a second, right? And you're going to get busy with this guy. Boom, to the head, Then he's going to get tired of that. He's going to give you his back. Boom. Then you're going to pick him up and slam him on his back, but not right now.
Okay.
Here we go.
Really good coaching as well. I like the fact that, sorry, I forgot the coach's name, but I like the fact that he's given good specific coaching points to Brian Shaw that suits him and his strengths. He's not trying to get Brian Shaw to throw any wheel kicks or do anything that he is athletically unable to do. That's always a sign of a good coach.
Grab that thing and make him actually defend. What would you do to defend? Try to get his hands inside. Look where his hands are. Right now, you know his hands are occupied, right? Okay, so as soon as you break, you're striking. With the back out, back out, we're striking with this bad boy. At the same time, back out. Boom, 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 and then we re-enter to the hips. Where there are no arms in the way, and then we finish our takedown.
Yeah, once again, really fantastic coaching. Colby Covington style, that is. Go for the takedown, can't get it, back out, throw some shots, get them thinking about up top, get the guard high, then go straight back in for the takedown again. And then he stands up, you throw some shots again, go back in for the takedown. That fighting style is the type that just fatigues your opponent because the opponent's worried about the takedown and then you back out and then they're getting hit up top, so they've got to bring the guard up, then they go for the takedown again. And if Brian Shaw is able to implement this stuff that he's getting coached, I think it's going to be a really good night for him, to be honest. So let's see. Good takedown by Brian Shaw, got a good little sweep there, good little trip. I mean, look at the size of him. And he's not breathing that heavy. See if he's just relentless like this and can keep that pace.
Switch, drill it.
Drilling. See how you let my legs out?
Yeah.
That's how I was able to escape.
Switch, slide, all the way to the bell. 15 seconds. 15 seconds to the bell.
You're sure you get it, Brian. You're sure you can get it. Keep going. You're sure you can get it. You got it. You got it, bro. Right at the bell.
Absolutely love it. Brian Shaw is looking like a dangerous threat here. I know we're only seeing some basic grappling and some basic striking, but I definitely think he's got a chance to win this fight. Once again, I haven't seen a lot of Martin Ford, so we'll do a few videos on Martin as well. We want to give him a fair shake, and I don't want to be biased here, but I like how Brian Shaw's looking. We have to remember that he's completely new to this. Been training MMA for 6 months, and he's a little bit older. I definitely think he's got a shot at winning this fight, provided that he can initiate those grappling exchanges. And I'm not saying that he's a better fighter than Martin Ford. I'm just thinking Brian Shaw needs to use his weight and his strength to his advantage. So what do you guys think of this fight? How do you think Brian Shaw's looking here? The big juicehead baby face. And just in case you haven't seen any of my last 3 videos because I didn't upload for 6 days and you completely forgot about me because I went to Dubai, I've got some cool content coming out within the next week and I think you guys will like it. I want to start doing more in real life content. So make sure you tune in for that. Like this video and subscribe because we upload every single day. See you all on the next one.